Order.
The Draft Industrial Training Levy Construction Industry Training Board Order 2026.
I call the Minister to move the motion.
I beg to move that the committee has considered the Draft Industrial Training Levy Construction Industry Training Board October 2026. It is a pleasure to serve under your chairship this afternoon, Ms McVeigh. The statutory purpose of the Construction Industry Training Board, or the CITB as I shall refer to it, is to make better provision for training across the construction industry. The 2023 Independent Review of Industry Training Boards by Mark Farmer confirmed the ITB's continued value in addressing persistent and structural workforce challenges within their industry. The review also found that a statutory levy remains the most effective model for industry-wide investment in training. This statutory instrument gives effect to the CITB's levy proposals for 2026, 27 and 28. The levy remains the CITB's primary source of funding, and this order is required for the board to raise mandatory assessments on in-scope employers. The funding raised through the levy will enable the CITB to continue its essential work to tackle skills shortages and market failure in training in the construction sector across England, Scotland and Wales. Recognising that there are differing views within the sector, the CITB continues to receive strong support from employers. This current order is built on industry consultation, consensus and stability. During the formal consensus process on the proposals in spring 2025, the CITB consulted all 14 prescribed organisations in its industry, alongside a structured survey of non-represented employers. Over 67% of levy-paying employers supported the proposals, representing almost 72% of total levy value, which is comfortably above the statutory thresholds required for consensus to be achieved. Before we consider the levy proposals in further detail, I would like to take this opportunity to return to the findings of the Farmer Review. I am pleased to confirm that the Government intends to consult industry on a proposal to bring together the CITB and the Engineering Construction Industry Training Board, the ECITB, to create a single, unified body to support the combined skills needs of the construction and engineering construction sectors. This proposal delivers upon the recommendation of the Farmer Review, which the Government accepted subject to further scoping, and it builds on the ITB's existing collaborative approach to working together as demonstrated through initiatives such as the Sizewell C Charter, a set of commitments between the ITBs, the local councils and Sizewell C to help ensure the skilled and inclusive workforce needed to deliver this vital nuclear power station. The consultation is expected to launch shortly, and the views expressed by industry will inform a decision on how to proceed. We cannot prejudice the outcome of this process, and, in any case, the earliest that a change would be likely to take place is April 2027. Should the Government choose to proceed with this proposed reform, any new levy order will come to this House through the proper parliamentary process. In the meantime, it is vital to the continuity of the CITB's support for employers that the levy order we are debating today continues as planned. So, returning to the proposals for this levy order, I give my thanks to the Joint Committee on Statutory Instruments for its detailed review. This order retains the levy assessment rates that have remained unchanged for 4 years. Despite employer demand for CITB services rising by 36% since 2021, levy rates have been deliberately held steady to support businesses still navigating difficult trading conditions at home and globally. This order also raises the exemption and reduction thresholds to protect small and micro businesses from unintended levy burdens caused by wage inflation. Employers with wage bills up to $149,999 will be exempt, and those between $150,000 and $499,999 will receive a 50% reduction. These thresholds will ensure that around 69% of eligible employers pay no levy at all, while a further 15% benefit from reduced rates. All of these employers remain eligible for CITB grants and support. The CITB estimates that these proposals will raise around £243 million per year to be invested in supporting the skills needs of the construction industry. That investment will fund vital programmes to widen participation, raise skills levels and tackle disadvantage, and to set occupational standards for the industry. In 2024-25, the CITB supported over 30,000 apprentices and 20,000 vocational qualification achievements, provided almost £130 million in grant funding, including £60 million to small and micro businesses, and commits up to £40 million to support fast-track training and apprenticeships in areas of high demand for home building skills. This funding directly underpins our broader economic priorities. The construction sector contributes over £211 billion in total output each year and employs more than 2 million people. But the fragmented nature of the industry, with a high rate of self-employment and complex supply chains, makes voluntary investment in training less likely to occur. Without a statutory levy, the skills the industry urgently needs simply will not materialise at the scale required. If this order is not approved, the CITB would be unable to collect levy in 2026, with potential impacts on apprenticeships and vital industry qualifications, employer support programmes, training standards and the future capability of one of the UK's most economically significant sectors. The UK faces an estimated requirement for an additional 240,000 construction workers by 2029, with the largest pressures felt in home building, infrastructure and repair and maintenance. Agreeing this order therefore plays a critical role in delivering the Government's commitment to deliver 1.5 million safe and decent homes this Parliament, as set out in our Plan for Change, and in supporting major infrastructure and clean energy projects across Great Britain, vital to economic growth and increased opportunity. In addition to industry support, the proposals before the House today have also received the support of the devolved governments of Scotland and Wales. They recognise, as do we, that maintaining the CITB's ability to raise and invest levy income is vital to ensuring employers across all three nations can access the construction skills they need. For these reasons, I commend the Industrial Training Levy Construction Industry Training Board Order 2026 to the committee.
The question is that the committee has considered the draft Industrial Training Levy Construction Industry Training Board Order 2026. Rebecca Smith.
Thank you, Ms McVeigh. It's a pleasure to serve under your chairmanship, and I rise to speak on behalf of the official opposition this afternoon. The order that we're debating will allow the Construction Industry Training Board, or CITB as they've been referred to raise one more year of levy on the construction sector for the specific purpose of funding training. The purpose of the levy is to support the construction industry in having a skilled, competent, inclusive workforce for the future. The levy equates to 0.35% of PAYE employees and 1.25% for net CIS and is reinvested by the board into the industry. In 2024-25, the CITB provided nearly £130 million in grant support to construction employers and learners. This has helped confront the training challenges which persist from the high number of self-employed workers in the sector. CITB estimates that 48,000 extra construction workers will be needed each year to 2029 to meet demand, a gap that could grow to 160,000 to fulfil the government's housing and retrofit ambitions. The Industrial Training Levy will be vital to bridge this gap, and I welcome this opportunity to scrutinise the government's plans. Nearly 60,000 potential new entrants leave the industry each year. Please can I ask the Minister the specific steps he is taking to improve workforce retention alongside efforts to increase recruitment into the construction industry. Employer demand for CITB support has increased by 36% since 2021, whilst levy rates have remained unchanged, with demand now exceeding levy income. Considering these financial pressures and the projected workforce requirements, could the Minister clarify to what extent these reforms will not only meet this demand, but also support the Government's housing and infrastructure ambitions? We welcome the support provided to apprenticeship starts through Nest, and can the Minister say what proportion of those apprentices remain in sustained employment after 12 months? Now, I should have declared an interest at the beginning because I have family members who have worked for a local construction industry training group, but just briefly on the restructuring of how training is funded. I highlighted in an adjournment debate on the 4th of January that local training groups who have played an enormous role in training in the construction industry over many decades are being sidestepped under these new plans, and as delivery changes, their local knowledge of the sector could be lost. So in that debate, I raised a question as to how funding will be allocated to areas such as my constituency in South West Devon, which do not have a strategic local authority, which is a key part of how this is going to be delivered. I would welcome further clarification from the Minister on this issue, together with assurances that areas without a strategic local authority will not be disadvantaged in any way as that transition takes place. We will not oppose the regulations today, but we would appreciate the Minister to address the concerns that have been raised.
Minister.
Thank you, Ms McVeigh. I'm grateful to the Honourable Member for South West Devon for her contribution and for the thoughtful scrutiny applied to this draft levy order. The evidence is consistent. Market forces alone will not deliver the pipeline of skilled workers the industry urgently needs. I guess that's what's driving her questions about how the government tackles that. But whether that's meeting the demand for new homes, retrofitting and repairing existing properties, or delivering the critical infrastructure needed for economic growth, there is work to do. The levy is the mechanism that enables the collective benefits of a focused skills strategy for the construction industry. It ensures that employers of all sizes can access support for training and share the benefits of a skilled, competent and resilient workforce. It also opens opportunity, helping apprentices and other new entrants to complete high-quality training and existing workers to reskill or upskill to progress their careers. I will, if it's okay with the Honourable Lady, write to her with the specifics on the percentage of apprenticeships still in meaningful employment, as well as the specific question that she asked on workforce retention. But on the question of recruitment particularly through the mechanism of apprenticeships, she will have noted the changes that the government is bringing forward to the funding of apprenticeships to introduce new foundation apprenticeships, of which construction apprenticeships form a key component. So we think that that will be essential to driving more young people towards construction apprenticeships and meeting that skills demand that we have if we are going to deliver on the 1.5 million homes target that we have. Clearly, it is our intention to ensure that areas without a strategic authority are not disadvantaged in any way. Clearly, the number of areas for whom that is the case is changing all the time. I represent an area that is within a combined authority area, but it is certainly not our intention to have anybody missing out on opportunities as a consequence of their local governance arrangements. But I am grateful to her for those questions and for the opportunity to have participated in this debate today. I will come back to her, as I say, on the specifics that I've committed to. But for all of the reasons that I set out in my opening speech, and largely agreed upon by the opposition spokesperson, I commend this levy order to the committee and I beg to move.
The question is that the committee has considered the draft industrial training levy, the Construction Industry Training Board, Order 2026. As many of that opinion say aye. Aye. Of the contrary, no. I think the ayes have it